I'm Andrew Carpenter. I'm Chief Executive of the Structural Timber Association. I'm also Chief Executive of Constructing Excellence Midlands. I sit on the Timber in Construction Working Group for the government, and I'm also a board member of the Construction Leadership Council Construct Zero board. School was a wonderful time for me. It was actually probably one of the most enjoyable times of my whole life. A long time ago now, I'm 65. So I left school 47 years ago, but I still have fond memories. Um, I went to a grammar school in Frome, my hometown in Somerset, and loved every minute of it. But I particularly liked the music and drama side because that's my real passion. So whilst I sailed through my O levels or GCSEs, as I think they're now called, and I got 10, when it got to the A levels and I had to put a little bit more time and attention to it, I'm afraid I wasn't quite so good, because by the age of 16, I was really concentrating on musical theatre, DJing. I enjoyed football and cricket. So probably didn't spend as much time on the how can I put it, the important subjects that I was meant to be working on and revising. But that's history now. So I got into construction by mistake, really. I left school in 1975 and spent the first 2 years of my life DJing, because by then that was a real passion for me. But by the time I got to the age of 20, my dad said, "You really do need to get a proper job, Andrew." And being on the Mendips, you did one of two things, really. You were either in farming or you were in quarrying. And a nearby quarry to Frome, where I live, had a couple of jobs going, both clerical jobs. And I applied for both. One offered me £40 a week and one offered me £25 a week. So guess what? I went for the £40 a week job and got it. So started with a massive international company called CRH, which had a UK company called Forticrete. And I started as a sales clerk. They must have seen something in me, because within about 12 months, I was promoted to being a representative. And then another 3 years later, I was promoted to being a technical representative. And then I went up through the organization into management and beyond. So I got in by mistake. And to be honest with you, it wasn't until I was about 32 that I recognized that I was never going to be a Football League referee. I was never going to be a Radio 1 DJ. And I really need to take my career a little bit more seriously. So it's really sort of springboarded from the age of about 32. So my career path with Forticrete, as I've already mentioned, started as a clerk and went through to being a sales representative, and then a technical representative, and then a regional manager, a business development director, a commercial director, and so on. So I was following a path through a single organization. But what really changed my life was the groundbreaking Rethinking Construction report of 1998, written by Sir John Egan. Which really concentrated on best practice and how we could improve the performance of the UK construction industry. The culture of construction I've always been alien to, because my passion is theatre, musical theatre, which has got a completely different culture. And so when this report came along in 1998 and it started talking about soft skills, that was really my area of expertise and knowledge. And so I made a jump, really, from being very sales oriented, more to deal with change management, best practice. First of all, within Forticrete, and then actually going to work for Constructing Excellence in London for the National Change Management Organisation. And it was a combination of those two roles. First of all, my background in manufacturing, and then the, if you like, the connections, the government connections and networking that I did within Constructing Excellence, that led me to being headhunted for the role I currently hold as Chief Executive for the Structural Timber Association. They were looking for somebody with good contacts, a good network, a background knowledge in manufacturing, but they wanted somebody from outside the timber sector. They didn't want somebody with any baggage. So they saw me as an ideal candidate, and I've been in that role 12 years, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Looking back, I think I would have got on a lot better or quicker if I'd paid more attention to the education system younger, earlier in my life. As I've already mentioned, I was 32 really before I took my career seriously, because my passion was elsewhere. It was in the music industry, it was football refereeing, it was DJing, anything but work, really. um, and I think what coincided with that change was my father dying. And that's a point in your life when you really do think deeply about what's ahead of you. I had two children by then as well with a mortgage. So I think I realized that if I was going to make a name for myself and do something meaningful with my life, that it really had to be within the UK construction sector. And so that was a massive change. And I said the biggest piece of advice I could give anyone is to take the education system more seriously as soon as you possibly can, because what I've learned since the age of 32 has been massive. And because I'm in a change management best practice sort of culture, group of people, that learning is accelerated, because that's what we do. We never accept today what we can do better tomorrow, and so on. So that's something I wish I'd taken a little bit more seriously earlier. In terms of anything else, I think I'm quite cool actually with how things have turned out. I'm delighted with what I'm doing now. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, particularly with the timber sector now, trying to increase the amount of timber we use in construction, which of course is good for the job, but it's also good for the planet. So I'm confident that any legacy I leave from my current role will be a positive one for everyone involved. So any advice I would give to myself at the age of 18, or even before really, would be to make sure that you concentrate on the subjects at school that you've decided you need for your career, and then to take that education through from the age of 18. Wouldn't necessarily have to be at university, because I do think that sometimes university life is overrated. I went to the University of Life, jumped straight into a role and got promoted through. So you can do it that way. But I think the important thing for me is attitude. When I'm interviewing people, the one thing I'm looking for is somebody with a positive attitude, somebody that is what I call a solutions provider. It doesn't matter how many letters you've got after your name. If you've got a bad attitude, then you will not get on in your role, because we're all looking for team players. We're all looking now for people with softer skills, the people skills. So certainly work on that. Particularly the construction industry is notoriously adversarial, is notoriously fragmented. So my advice to anybody is to seek out collaborative skills, seek out the ability to integrate not only with people within your own business, but integrate with other members of the supply chain. Because again, historically, the construction industry is very silo in its thinking. They do what they have to do, then pass it over to the next person in the chain. We must understand the needs of the whole supply chain, so that our decision making is based on the needs and the facts from everybody, from the client right through to the manufacturer and everyone in between. So my advice would be to get those softer skills, the team working skills, the leadership skills, and apply them into a construction arena, because going forward, it's going to be increasingly important.